Hi, welcome to Behind the Blue, Millikin Athletics' new weekly program recapping all of our sports action from the week before. Be sure to tune in every Wednesday to keep up on all your Big Blue sports news. Millikin volleyball got off to a flying start last week as the Big Blue found themselves ranked by the ABCA to open the season. Millikin did not disappoint, notching a 3-1 victory over Dominican in their season opener. After dropping the first set 25-14, the Big Blue took control down the stretch to secure the win. Junior Tori Stewart led the way with 16 kills in the contest. On the weekend, the Big Blue headed up to the Central Grinnell Invitational. There, they played 3 games, going a perfect 3-0. They opened against Wisconsin-Platteville, winning 3-1. In game number 2 of the weekend, the Big Blue earned their 3rd victory and first sweep of the season, defeating host Grinnell 3-0. The third and final match of the weekend saw Millikin take on Cornell. A tightly contested match, the Big Blue saw each and every one of the 4 sets be decided by 2 points, and 3 of the 4 sets saw the winner score over 25 points. Cameron Flessner led the Big Blue in kills with 16, and freshman Olivia Gerbovic was instrumental, recording a career-high 47 assists in the match. That puts Millikin at 4-0 through the first week of play, good for 2nd in the CCIW. This weekend, the Big Blue are in action at the UChicago Invite. Moving on to men's soccer, they kicked off their season against Aurora last week. A close contest saw the Big Blue take a lead early in the second half, but they were unable to hang on. Eli McClinton scored in the loss, and John Kubler made 2 saves for the Big Blue. Later in the week, the Big Blue opened at home against Benedictine. After a scoreless first half, the Eagles took a lead early in the second and did not look back. Colin Budd scored late in the loss for the Big Blue. This puts Millikin at 0-2 on the season, and they'll look to bounce back this week against Wisconsin Whitewater and Rose-Hulman. Moving on to women's soccer, the Big Blue took to the pitch and opened their season on the road against Knox College. 2 early marks put Millikin up, but Knox would battle back to tie things early in the second. However, just 4 minutes after the Prairie Fire struck, Bailey Blecker would score for the Big Blue, and Hope Limoges would shut the door from there for the victory. Later in the week, Millikin hosted the Blue Jays of Westminster College. This one was a tight, scoreless affair throughout regulation. Finally, Bailey Blecker broke through in the second half of golden goal overtime for the game's only mark. Hope Limoges was perfect 4 for 4 in goal, notching her 3rd career shutout in a Big Blue uniform. This puts women's soccer at 2-0 and places them 2nd in the CCIW. This week, Millikin tries to start a season 3-0 for the first time since 2017. Big Blue football opened on the road this week against Greenville. A back-and-forth battle saw Millikin end up on the losing end by a score of 37-33. Cal Port was 18 for 36 for 258 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in the loss. Marion McGee led the Big Blue with a team-high 99 rushing yards and a touchdown, and senior Colton Lockwood hauled in 7 passes for 161 yards and 2 scores for the Big Blue. Millikin starts off 0-1 and has a bye week this week before heading into a grueling 9-week battle through the CCIW. Millikin Triathlon got things rocking up in Wisconsin this weekend at the NCAA qualifiers. Senior Hope Roderick led the way for the Big Blue, finishing in 4th place in the Division III race, with freshman Allie Barnes and junior Katie Alaska not far behind. The Big Blue finished 3rd overall, managing to edge out defending national champion North Central College. This week, the Big Blue head up to Michigan for the Rhodes McKee-Reeds Lake Triathlon. Men's and women's golf teed off last week as both teams opened with strong showings. The Big Blue men tied for 5th in the Transylvania tournament, shooting a team 876. They also took place in the Aurora Double Gun tournament, placing 4th. The Millikin women placed 7th in the Augustana Highland Classic last week. They shot a team 673. This week, the men are at Carthage College's Fall Classic, and the women head to Illinois College for the Illinois College Fall Preview. Now it's time to recognize our Big Blue Athlete of the Week, Hope Limoges. A senior athletic training major, the St. Charles, Missouri native guided women's soccer to a perfect 2-0 start. She saved 11 of the 13 shots that she faced and notched a stellar 0.94 goals against average. Limoges also recorded her 3rd career shutout against Westminster. That's all for this week's edition of Behind the Blue. Be sure to tune in next week for all your Millikin sports news. Have a great week and go Big Blue.